Cabana told me, everything you'll be doing in your lifetime, your wife Myrna will be helping you.
And it's always interesting when you're around Eddie. You don't know what he's going to want to do next, what project or what thing's going to happen. So I found it really exciting.
Celebrated musician and filmmaker Eddie Kamae and producing partner and wife Myrna, next on Long Story Short.
Long Story Short with Leslie Wilcox is Hawaii's first weekly television program produced and broadcast in high definition.
Aloha mai kako, I'm Leslie Wilcox. Life partners in work and marriage for almost a half-century, Eddie and Myrna Kamae have earned national acclaim for preserving on film some of Hawaii's unique cultural treasures. The Kamaes credit many individuals whose gifts of knowledge and generous support have culminated in the establishment of their Hawaiian Legacy Foundation. Eddie Kamae has distinguished himself as a singer, musician, composer, author, and film director. As a key figure in the Hawaiian Cultural Renaissance, Eddie was already famous for his virtuoso playing of the ukulele when he joined forces in 1959 with the legendary singer and slack key guitar master Gabby Pahinui, along with bassist Joe Marshall and steel guitarist David Feet Rogers to form the Sons of Hawaii. Edward Leilani Kamae was born in Honolulu in 1927 to a family comprised of 10 children. Eddie's musical path was influenced in part by his father, Samuel Ho'opili Kamae. Eddie Kamae's mother, Alice Ululani Opunui, explained her kindness towards strangers, telling Eddie that all these things we do for each other, we feed them more than food. We're feeding the soul. It's a philosophy that has informed the work of Eddie and Myrna Kamae throughout the decades.
There was this boy sleeping in a park, and so my mother told me, you go get him and bring him here. So I go there, I woke him up, mister, yeah, come, my mother wants to see you. So he picked up his things and he came to the house.
How old was he?
In his teens. And so he came to the house and my mother said, you don't sleep there anymore. You sleep here. Now we're all sleeping in the living room, you know. So he's going to sleep next to us now. We got 9 brothers now, you know. I go, oh, well. But that's where it was. He stayed with us all that time. As years went by, one day the father came by, and the father wanted to take his son home, but he didn't want to go. So he wanted to stay with my mother, you know. Because he felt my mother adopted him, you know. He didn't want to go. So the father don't want to leave. So my father went out and told the father, go, leave. So the father left. And that was the end of the father. And he stayed with me and my brothers and my mother, you know, our families.
What was his name?
Peter Wu.
And what happened to him? What became of Peter Wu?
Well, I think he got married and settled down somewhere, you know. See, my mother, she just loves people, no matter who they are.
Was your dad like that too?
My father was strictly a man that minds his own business.
But he would allow your mom to bring in people
yes.
to eat and share?
He won't stop that. He was part Cherokee Indian. He just come and go. But he always tell all of us, all I want from you, you are to respect the elders, no matter who they are. If they're hungry, you feed them. Yes, and always, he said, and you help them.
How did you learn to play the ukulele?
Well, my brother Joe, my oldest brother, is a bus driver, found a ukulele on the bus, brought it home. My brother Joe would tune the instrument and play, so I liked to listen to that sound that he was doing. But he put the instrument down. So I figured, well, I watched him while he was playing, you know, the chord progressions, you know. And so when they go to work, So I go get the ukulele. I sit next to the radio. I turn on the radio, whatever music is. I just strum away, just feel like I'm playing with the music, but I'm just enjoying myself, you know, those days. Yeah. And so it got me involved in music. Yeah.
Do you think you were good right from the beginning?
Well, I thought so then myself.
But you were actually playing songs from the beginning?
Yes, I just listened to the music. See, it was music by, well, I love Spanish music then because it was Xavier Cugat, his music. And I love one song that he plays all the time, and I follow him, you know. So he was titled Por Qué. See, and I love the song, so I just follow him. But the rhythm section is what I liked. See, I just listen to the rhythm and I just play the rhythm, you know, the feeling of it, you know. So then my father would take me to the jam session, Charlie's Cab, right on King Street, right across the Hawaiian Electric Building. So they had this Texas stand there. So my father would take me over there Fridays and Saturdays. That's where all the entertainers would come and sing and play music. So I go over there and play my ukulele. And what I like about the whole idea, people throw money on the stage, and the musician pick it up and put it in my pocket. I like that.
Good incentive.
Oh, yes. So I just play, and my father just smiles, he's happy. So then he takes me back the next day, you know. Then I can see that in him. Until one day he asked me, you should play and sing Hawaiian music. Then I told my father, it's too simple. You know, I wasn't interested. But he never asked me again, but it's the only thing he ever asked me. So when he passed away, that's how I got into Hawaiian music. Listening to Gary, sitting down, playing with him, and that was it.
What about Hawaiian music is too simple?
Well, it was. What I heard was simple. Called Pajesum is just total simple, you know. So Gary, I heard him play, I like. Gary had that personality. Well, he was a great musician. And also, that I found that was interesting, he had a voice that would carry a tune, you know. But secondly, he can get funny at the same time, you know. And thirdly, he can get naughty, you know. But
naughty meaning?
Yeah, he just telling people shut up, you know. And I couldn't believe it. I said, this is Hawaiian music. Now, what is this? I didn't know that. But the people out there laughing, and Gary go, oh, shut, because they're demanding that he sing this song and that song, and he has his own forte, you know. But that's the way it is. But if you see the old folks, or you know, somebody that have money, that's who he's going to sing for. So, you know, the guy going to buy him a drink. Marshall sings along with Gabby, the Marshall, and because he went to commandment school, so he knew the language. So he would harmonize with Gabby. But at times, Gabby sing the wrong lyrics. And Marshall, he looked at my steel player and me, he go, what's wrong with that monkey? So he calls Gabby monkey every time. And Gabby wink at us, and he gonna sing something that's not right, you know. And Marshall turned to us and said, there goes that monkey again. So they had this routine, kidding one another, you know. I said to myself, by God, it's interesting.
While performing Hawaiian music with the Sons of Hawaii, Eddie began his quest to find the sources of Hawaiian musical traditions. In that process, he sought the help of two key cultural resources, Pilahi Paki and Mary Kavenapukui. Both women were generous with their encouragement and with their knowledge.
Mary Kavenapukui was really central in Eddie's life for guidance. He'd always go to her. Even before I met Eddie in the early 60s, he had this strong bond with Kavena, and she would guide him, and he would come back and bring music he'd found with maybe one verse, and nobody knew the rest of it. And he could hand it to Kavena, and she would write the rest of the verses for him. She just had this incredible memory and just loved to do things with Eddie that would then be remembered by everyone.
She always tells me, it's out there.
Go find it.
Yes. Homau, Eddie, homau. Continue on, you know. So I just look at the music and I look at the lyrics. I find no problem. So that I can play it and sing it, you know.
And you couldn't hear those songs anywhere else. You had to bring them back.
Yes, yes.
What's the difference between the old songs and the songs that had become popular in their place?
There's no difference. The old people had their own way of presenting the music. But as time goes by, change will come. Carmela told me that, you know. She always told me, just do it. It's important. So I had a chance to focus on what I want to do, and I just do it.
You know, Hawaiian composers, then and now, there's a lot of double entendre, there are a lot of hidden meanings, layers.
Yes.
Can you always tell what the song is about?
Oh, if my tutus laugh at me, I know already. I know they know the other side of the translation, and I don't want to hear it, you know. Yeah, but that's where it is. And sometimes they all just laugh. So when they do that, I stop singing. So I know they know what the meaning is about, you know. See, that's Hawaiian music. Now you don't see a lot of the elderly people around to tell you that, see. But I love to listen to, I love to talk with the elderly people. But I like to when they said, come here, you know, and they have a piece of paper. You sing this song. Because my papa would always sing this song to my mama. See, she said, sing this. So now I got to trace it because I have all this research material and books that I kept before. So I can trace it and get it down, get the lyrics. Then I know what it is because she told me, you know. And I wish that they were more like that, you know, because it's something personal with families, you know.
Alongside her husband Eddie, Myrna Kamae has produced award-winning albums of traditional Hawaiian music featuring the Sons of Hawaii and 10 cultural documentaries for their Hawaiian Legacy series. A native of Mapleton, Utah, Myrna Harmer was in Hawaii in 1965 to help a friend open a new restaurant on Maui. Eddie, coincidentally, was in town visiting his mother in the hospital, and he was invited to a party at a friend's beach house. The gathering included Myrna, who was captivated by Eddie's music.
Well, Myrna just stared at me.
She liked you, huh?
Well, I didn't move for 2 hours. I never really heard authentic Hawaiian music.
Yeah.
And here's Eddie with his little Martin guitar, ukulele, and playing with Raymond Connie, that beautiful slap key guitar. And I just walked up to the door and stood there because I did have a background of music. My family all were musical, but in Hawaii, I hadn't ever really heard the authentic sound. And it was astonishing to me to hear this sound. And with the, you know, waves in the background, and it was just beautiful. And it was Christmas Day. Yeah. And then that evening, Eddie and his cousin came up to where I was working. I had gone to Maui, to Lahaina, to help them take over a restaurant called Pineapple Hill. And so the person who was manager said to Eddie, why don't you and your cousin come up, you know, to the restaurant.
Had you met? Had you just listened to the music, or had you met?
We had, well,
not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
I think I fell in love with the music first. You know, just.
But you noticed her watching.
Well, no, but I look at everybody.
Oh, okay. So now something happened this night. So how did it happen, and when did it happen?
Well, I remember that Eddie was standing back in the back with he and his cousin, Hale Kaniho, and I wanted to go into town, and I had a trail bike that I usually would ride, but I thought, gee, you know, most of the time things closed in Lahaina in those days really early, but I really wanted to go somewhere, so I just said, I'm taking my trail bike going into town. If anybody is going into town, I'll take a ride with you, but you got to bring me back. And Eddie goes, oh, I'll take you. And so I grabbed a bottle of Chianti wine out of the storeroom, and we went down, let his cousin off, and then we looked for a place. Anyway, they had a rock wall then, and you know, Eddie was a lot different then. He had gabardine trousers and you know, these silk shirts and beautiful, beautiful clothes. And of course I had, you know, cut off Levi's and a sweatshirt and that kind of thing. Anyway, so I said, I'm gonna jump over the wall, you know, will you follow me? And he said, yes. I thought, oh yeah, sure. So we climbed over the wall, and we opened the bottle of wine, and we're looking out, and my goodness, this gorgeous Maui moon is coming down into the ocean.
Sunset. This total round orange, just slowly going down. And we just looked at that, you know. That's the most interesting sunset I've ever seen.
Actually, it was the moon going down.
Oh, whatever it is.
Well, the short side of the story of how our families felt was we decided that we wouldn't tell anybody and just go get married, and then we would tell them after, and that worked quite well, except a few people were upset because they wanted to have a party.
But you were accepted,
Yes.
and in fact, you got rave reviews from Mary Kavena Pukui, right?
Yes.
Didn't she say something really good when she met you?
Kavena told me. She said, I want to meet your wife. So when I brought Myrna, then, you know, she and I discussing my subject, what I was doing, and she noticed Myrna was down on the floor taking notes and writing. So then time to go, so Myrna bid her farewell first. So when I came around to bid her farewell, good night, you know, and she told me, Eddie, if you're having a pilique with your wife, you're wrong.
You're wrong.
I go, oh no, now I know she knows, see.
What's the connection between you two? How do you make it work?
Well, Kavena told me, everything you'll be doing in your lifetime, your wife Myrna will be helping you. So when I got into every project, you know, whether it's filmmaking, songs, whatever it is, she was always there to handle the situation, so I didn't have to worry about the work, the paperwork and all that things, you know, the business side. She handled that, so I don't have to worry.
And that was a role you wanted?
Well, I played that role, but I also got to do some of the other things that were fun, to go out on shoots, to write songs with Eddie. So it was, you know, it was a lot of fun too. And it's always interesting when you're around Eddie, you don't know what he's gonna want to do next, what project or what thing's gonna happen. So I found it really exciting.
In 1970, Kavena Pukui encouraged Eddie and Myrna Kamae to visit the Big Island to find the songwriter of Waipio Valley, Sam Li'a Kalai'aina. He later became the subject of their first documentary film. One of the last Hawaiian poets to compose using flower images to represent hidden meanings in his songs, Sam Li'a was already 89 years old, and one of the few living cultural practitioners who bridged the 19th and 20th centuries.
And when I went up the house, he was Sam Li'a sitting down, and it just seemed like he was waiting for me. I said my father is from Bon Waipio, to see, and he told me many stories. And one of the most interesting story I heard when he said I was playing music with the boys. You see? And I said, what? I was playing music with the boys. Then in come running in was Spring School Hill. So we all about ready to stand up, but he sit down, so we couldn't stand up, you know. So I look at him, and he just smiled. So we played music, entertained him. But he said, now I just write my thoughts down, what I saw, what he does, and what he's gonna do. So I just labeled it down. Yeah, you're right. So then one day he told me, here, you sing this. So he wrote a song for Prince School Hill.
He did say to Eddie that he had been waiting for him.
Yes. Yes.
Did he mean waiting for the right person to share
Yes.
with?
See, it's no more like him. Yeah. He's so generous. If it's your birthday, he writes you a song. Those days, money that's not the thing. It was what you give, you know.
Luther Mikiko was one of the most colorful and cantankerous characters profiled by the Kamaes. Luther was a chanter and singer, poet, and philosopher. He was already into his 9th decade when the Kamaes went in search of his story.
He was a man intelligent, but all he wants to do is just drink and have a ball. And Luther said, I met a man in a bar. I said, and what it was like? I said, well, we drink it. See? So I'm drinking, he drinking. So then I told him, I own acres and acres of land here on the Big Island.
Is that Luther told the guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
See, what he wanted to do was drink on the guy all day. So he could impress him, you know? So he goes, let's go to my lawyer's office. And he walks, and the girls tell him, here's in. So he goes to they pound the door, and he works this thing out, the lawyer, see? He pound the door, he says, my paper's ready. So the lawyer said, Luther, it'll be ready in 1 week. Which the lawyer told me the story. He said, no, I know what he's gonna do. He's going back and drink on the guy all day. And that's what he did. He impressed the guy that he owns acres and acres of lands. Now he come back and drink on the guy. One story the daughter told me. She said, we went to his anniversary party of Luther's, on top floor of the hotel there. And all of a sudden the MC says, will you please, Luther Mikiko's children, please stand. She said, Eddie, I didn't know I had 39 half-brothers and half-sisters. But that was Luther, see.
Different women, obviously.
Yeah, they all chase after him, see. That's the way it is. He doesn't bother, as long as he got his bottle of booze, that's what he loves, see. Yeah.
And he was a musician too, right?
Well, he sings, yeah, plays. Same falsettos, assembly, yeah.
He was just an all-around character, wasn't he?
Yes. You know, the old timers by the theater, they tell me, you know, Eddie, you know that guy, he tell us, okay, see that house over there, and I want you guys to go over there, because I'm going to move, so I want you guys to move all the furniture out. So while they were doing that, this other guy come by and says, what are you fellas doing? He said, well, Luther told me he's moving, so we're moving these things out. The guy said, this is my house. And the guys are telling the story afterwards. They go, that Luther almost got us into trouble. I said, but who would do that? Yeah. I tell them, move things out, it's not his house. Only Luther can think about things.
So it seems like you are always attracted to authenticity, you know,
yes.
People being really who they are in the place they are.
Yes. Well, that's what I found about Luther. You know, he had a way of doing things. Everything is his way, he's going to do it. See, it's amazing. And Laurie's telling me that. Eddie, that guy's always thinking.
When Eddie first wanted to go out and do music research, we had saved $20,000 to put down on a new house. And he asked me if he could use that money to go out and do research, and I said yes. And it's always been that way. You spend a lot of your own money, and then Eddie has some really good friends that when he got into the filmmaking business, they helped him be able to do it. Herb Cornell and his wife Jeannie came to one of our documentaries and asked Jeanette Paulson, who's head of the Hawaii International Film Festival those years, you gotta help Myrna and Eddie, how can we do it? A little bit later on, Herb and Carol Fox and Sam Cook and Kelvin Takeda, before he became the head of Hawaii Community Foundation, still Nature Conservancy, they helped us do 5 films. And that was a major, major part of our work. And then we actually formed a nonprofit called the Hawaiian Legacy Foundation. And we have a board of directors, people who love Eddie's music, who love the work, they love the authentic, you know, cultural continuity that we try to establish in the work. And we also, you know, you look at the people that helped us make the films, and that you have to have a really a wonderful production crew, and we've had, you know, most of them from the beginning, like Rodney Otani and Dennis Mahaffey has been a consultant through the whole thing.
So you never bought that new house?
No, we're still renting.
Eddie and Myrna Kamae's documentary titled Those Who Came Before, The Musical Journey of Eddie Kamae, honors Eddie's teachers, Mary Kavenapukui, Pilahi Paki, and Sam Leah, who inspired the Kamae's efforts to preserve Hawaii's cultural heritage. The Kamaes at the time of this taping in 2011 are hard at work in production on another documentary about the people of Kalaupapa called Feeding the Soul. Mahalo piha, Eddie and Myrna Kamae, for sharing your long story short. And thank you for watching and supporting PBS Hawaii. I'm Leslie Wilcox. Ahui ho kako.
For audio and written transcripts of this program and all episodes of Long Story Short with Leslie Wilcox, visit pbshawaii.org.
Eddie would take me to see Kavenapukui. And the thing that she said to us that meant more than anything was, a lot of times along the way, you have some hard knocks. And when something especially hard happened, she would say, you know, there's always room in your heart for forgiveness. And that's helped a lot through the years, to be able to let things go and to be able to continue on with the work.